You know, there are seasons in the calendar year and there are seasons in our marriages. And just like for the calendar year, we kind of think about preparing for the different seasons. Like in the fall, maybe you're planting your tulip bulbs so that they'll bloom in the spring, or maybe in the spring you're, doing the weeding of the garden so you can plant your vegetables. As we prepare for those seasons, we need to prepare, be intentional for the different seasons of our marriages. If we don't plan, if we're not intentional, sometimes bad things happen. In fact, Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit. So here's what we need to know about the seasons of marriage, because again, sometimes we don't even think of marriage as having seasons. But marriage does have kind of a seasonal ebb and flow. For instance, I would equate the marriage stage, the wedding stage, as like being summer. I mean, you're just giddy with excitement and you're the center of attention and you're like Cinderella, the beautiful princess in the beautiful dress, and the world's revolving around you, and it's just like sunshine is just, kissing your shoulders with that vitamin D, and everything is wonderful, right? And then you move back home from the honeymoon and you're settled, and maybe a year or two goes by, and the honeymoon phase is kind of over, and if you're not really intentional, just like in the fall the leaves kind of fall from the trees, well, if you're not intentional in continuing to nurture your marriage, well, your marriage kind of gets stripped of its vitality. And then the winter season comes, and I would say that could be when children enter the picture. Not that children are a bad thing, they're an excellent thing, but if we're not intentional, we become so hyper-focused on the children that the husband's not really nurtured at all. That relationship kind of gets put on the back burner, and pretty soon Satan sees an opening here because you are not doing anything to sow into your marriage as you're focused on your children, and it's like Satan sneaks in just like a cold draft in the winter would sneak under an unsealed door. Yeah, and that can just invade your marriage, and now you can become, well, it can be like ice in your relationship, right? Not good. But then springtime. If you can remember to nurture your marriage through each of the preceding seasons, through the summer and the fall and the winter, if you can remember to be intentional, to be diligent, springtime, when the kids have grown up and they've moved out, and now you get to enjoy life, just the two of you, and maybe begin new adventures together and travel or different hobbies that you get to share together, and it's just the two of you. But this springtime that's beautiful, where love blooms again, really only happens when you're intentional in the preceding seasons.